Humanity wasn't always the first to be gifted by the light of the traveler. Before us, before the last city, there were those that reveled in its peculiar majesty, now fallen from grace. Countless centuries ago, the traveler came across a species that called themselves the Elixni. They flourished magnificently under the gaze of the traveler into their very own golden age. The traveler terraformed their planet Reese into a stunning scenery of perfect lakes and rivers with fields of iridescent crops tended by their gardeners, all under the sky of light pink blend that shimmered gold by the storms of the planet. The Elixni revered the great machine, a name they anointed to the traveler. Despite being insectoid and nomadic in appearance, they grew creative, proud, and technologically far superior to us in our golden age. They expanded for the stars, building trade routes and outer colonies, while substantially expanding their technology and space travel. The Elixni assembled themselves into noble houses and appointed each house with a Kel, political leaders that were adored and heeded by all. The three prominent houses of the time were House of Kings, one of the most prominent houses of the time and the seat of power. They ended the Edge Wars, a war that settled the infighting and brought peace amongst the Elixni to usher into their golden age. House of Judgment would live among the other houses to maintain peace, furthermore to guide their leaders and preserve their secrets. And lastly, House of Rain was a house of prophecy and observation. While being regarded as the weakest of the three noble houses, their prophecy of the Kells of Kel still exists to this day, despite their sigil lost to time itself. Their doom was sudden. The arrival of the darkness was swift, and in the chaos of destruction, the traveler fled. Abandoned by the great machine without hesitation, the Elixni left at the mercy of the darkness. Billions perished, yet the worst was far from over. Shortly after, the hive under the command of Oryx, the Taken King himself, descended upon Reese to finish what remained in the aftermath. Chelsus of House Stone and his forces stood against unspeakable odds, for it was his last stand against the hive. His bravery in the face of certain death, his sacrifice that made it possible for the remaining houses to escape the cataclysm, beginning the long drift. The mass exodus embarked by the noble Kells to follow the traveler lasted centuries. Ketchus became home to numerous generations born into the vacuum of space. Their past is now a myth, told to the young as remembrance of their origin. Dependence grew on the machines they created. Archons shifted fate to the worshipping of servitors that processed matter into ether, food once found in abundance back at Reese. The primary source of nourishment for the Elixni, now selfishly held for social control. After countless conflicts and infightings, desperation rose with the limitation on ether supply. Many abandoned their houses and became pirates, looting and scavenging while constructing remote outposts and facilities to harvest ether for survival. For one day, hopes of returning to their former glory still burnt brightly amongst the Elixni. Eventually, the Elixni found Earth, which had just survived its collapse due to the traveler's sacrifice. Devastated by the actions of the Great Machine, the Elixni stationed themselves on Earth and the many systems around it to reclaim what they believed rightfully theirs. Around the same time, the Guardians came into existence through the traveler, and the two fought many legendary battles. It started with the Battle of the Six Fronts and ended with the Twilight Gap. In the end, the Guardians proved triumphant, and the last city survived. Many conflicts took place after. the Reef Wars and the House of Wolf Rebellion, the return and revenge of the Taken King, the Siva Crisis in the Wastelands of Cosmodrome, the rise of the Scorn in the Tangled Shore, and the raiding of Europa by House Salvation are all monumental events that will be covered as we delve deeper into the Eliksni and their disputes. But when Aramis of House Salvation during Beyond Light was defeated, the Eliksni scattered. But there was still hope for the Eliksni, one who aspired to be different, for one who would give his people hope. Misrax of House Light aided the Guardians to rid the city of the Endless Night from the events during Season of the Splicer. Gaining our trust and companionship, Guardians allied with the Fallen of House Light. The Fallen made their refuge under the Great Machine, giving both Guardians and the Eliksni a new beginning. But we mustn't forget that the darkness is ever closer. The final shape nearly assembled. The Guardians must forge unlikely alliances, for the battle ahead could be the end of us all. Thank you so much for making it this far. I hope you were satisfied with the overall execution of the video, and I would love to hear your thoughts below. Before we end this video, I want to announce the exclusive rewards available on my Patreon. Every lore video will launch with mobile and desktop exclusive wallpapers, static and animated. Moreover, the ability to have your Guardians illustrated in these videos. You can find all the information in my welcome video. Until next time, Guardians.